today for my first video, we're going to talk about, I feel pulled to talk about energy. I actually asked God to help me with this video today, and I said, you know what, I have so many things I could talk about, so many subjects. Where should I start? So I felt pulled to talk about energy and how energy works. I think a lot of people don't understand how energy works, and a lot of people think it's woo-woo. It's not. Everything is energy. Everything. And if you remember in school, you learned energy cannot be created nor destroyed. And so, you know, people that think that when you die, that's it. It just, the lights out and there's nothing left. That can't be true, because if energy cannot be destroyed, then you have to go somewhere, right? You're not just going to be in your body one day and then boom, it's over. That spirit is going to go somewhere. It's going to change forms. Obviously, it's going from solid form to like a vapor form or a spirit form, right? It's just like water. You know, you have your different states of water. You have, you know, solid, liquid, or gas. And so when it's a solid, it's an ice cube. When it's gas, it's vapor. When it's liquid, it's water. So there's different states. You also have condensation, you know, which is also a different form of liquid. So you have different states of this energy. Water is just another form of energy. So sound is another form of energy. Heat is another form of energy. So everything in this world is energy. And I learned this over the years studying. What really got me to really start to understand it was law of attraction. And I started learning about that when I was like in probably middle school or high school. And I've kind of put it to use over the years, and it's really done wonderful things for my life, knowing how to use that. And I can do other videos on that another day, but I want to stay on topic on just energy and how it naturally works. It took me years to kind of figure out and put all the dots together and to get the bigger picture on energy as a whole and kind of how it works. So what a lot of people don't understand is your thoughts are energy too. Your words are energy. So everything you think, everything you say manifests, whether you realize it or not. And I can even back these things up that I tell you with scripture. For example, like in the script, you know, the words, in scripture, in the Bible, it talks about like your words are your seeds. And there's scripture that says, you know, be careful what you speak, or be careful what you believe about yourself, because those things manifest. There's lots of scriptures over and over again that tell us this, talking about, you know, say this to the mountain and the mountain shall crumble and move. If you tell it to crumble into the sea, it has to obey you. If you curse the roots of a fig tree, they're going to shrivel up and die. You hear this over and over again in many different parts of the Bible. It's constantly repeated. Jesus constantly talked about it, constantly spoke about the seed, the spoken word, and how it works, and how to be careful using it. An idle mind, an idle tongue, speaking through vanity, and not being careful how you use your words, because these things eventually manifest. Some things manifest quick, some things take a while to manifest, and some things manifest larger quantities. That's why in the scripture it says that sometimes, you know, like if you give, it will be given back to you, sometimes 10, sometimes 20, sometimes 30. So you have to understand that energy is just like planting a seed, okay? And when you plant a seed into the ground, you can have one squash seed, and when you plant that one squash seed, it grows a vine, and sometimes that vine will yield 10, 20, or 30 pieces of squash on it. So that one seed amplified and brought back to you an abundance. Your words are the same way, and all you have to do to understand how energy works and how law of attraction works and how nature works is just look at nature. It tells you everything you need to know about manifesting and about energy, really, honestly. So in the scriptures, Jesus tells us when someone curses you, don't curse them back, bless them. I never understood that growing up, why he told us to bless somebody that cursed us. That made no sense to me, because when somebody upsets you and angers you and makes you mad, the first thing you want to do is cuss them out, like, or get them back, or make them suffer and feel the pain that you felt. And Jesus says, yeah, it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to have emotions and feel that way. There's nothing wrong with being angry. You just don't want to stay in your anger. But watch what you do with that anger, because the anger and your emotions are fuel. They are fuel for manifestation. So just like a thunderstorm, when it rains, if it just lightly drizzles, the plants only get watered a little bit. But if you have a huge thunderstorm with a deluge of rain, that's really going to water that garden. And you're going to have a big bounty of fruits and vegetables based on, you know, how powerful that rain is and how much of it you give to the garden. And it's the same way when you speak. When you speak with a lot of powerful emotions, it doesn't matter if the powerful emotions are happy and excited or they're angry and mad. It doesn't matter which one. It's just a very strong amount of powerful emotion will make your manifestations happen faster and grow it more. And I'm going to give you an example of this. When you stand, this is how energy works. And I can explain it through air, through soil, through water, through fire. When you stand on a mountaintop, or let's instead of a mountaintop, let's use a canyon. When you stand on or near a canyon or in a canyon, you have the walls of the canyon around you, right? When you yell out, hello, what happens? You get an echo, right? That's what energy is. Energy is an echo, just producing back to you whatever you put out, whatever you think and whatever you say. So when you stand on a mountain, or you stand on in a gully or valley or whatever, when you're in a, I had a brain fart. I can't think what it's called now. When you're standing and you're in the well, dang, my brain just froze. I'm gonna have to cut this and fix it. A gorge, a canyon. There we go. I don't know why that happened to me just now. Something doesn't want me to get this message out. But anyways, when you're standing in a canyon and you yell and you say hello, even if you just yell a little bit, not real loud, just yell a little bit. Hello. What happens? That hello comes back to you reverberated, not just one time. It comes back to you like hello, hello, hello. And it gets quieter with each one, but it comes back to you amplified. It comes back to you. It bounces off the wall like a boomerang, and it comes back to you, and you receive your own voice back multiplied, just like the seed that Jesus was talking about. It's multiplied. Now, if you say it with a lot of force, a lot of emotion, hello, it's going to amplify it even more. Instead of your voice coming back to you echoed 3 times, you might hear it come back to you echoed 6 times or 7 times. So instead you say hello, like hello, and it comes back, hello, 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 until it fades. So do you see the amount of energy I put behind the second hello? Because it was magnified and stronger, and I said it with much more force, just like a deluge of rain during a thunderstorm. It watered that word. It made that word echo and come back reverberated and with more amplitude. So instead of it coming back 3 times, it came back 6 or 7 times. But if I said it quietly, just like I said the first time, hello, it's going to come back only 3 times with 3 reverberations. So putting emotional force behind something, volume behind something, whether it's mentally or verbally, or even through action, a lot of energy. The more energy exerted you're going to get more come back to you. It's just like the law, for every action there's a reaction. It's the same thing. So when you act on something or say something or think something, it is going to come back to you multiplied, depending on how much force you put behind it or how much emotion you put behind it. So that being said, you have to be careful of your words, because if you curse someone, it comes back to you amplified, and you're really cursing yourself. This is why Jesus told us, bless others when they hurt you, because he was protecting you. He was telling you, when you go to curse them, you're hurting yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to hurt yourself. They've already hurt you. Why do you want to hurt yourself more than they've already hurt you? Do you understand what I'm saying? So instead of, you think, well, yeah, but I still hurt them. Okay, maybe you did, but then you hurt yourself too. So you shot them, but then that shot also came back and ricocheted and got you too. That's kind of how it works. That's how energy literally works. And I can prove that in all the elements. I can prove that in air, fire, water, soil. So with air, that would be like the echo, okay? With soil, it'd be like the seed. You plant one squash seed or one cucumber seed, and what do you end up getting? You end up getting an abundance of cucumbers. It never just grows one cucumber. It always grows an abundance of cucumbers. Sorry, I mess with my hair so much over here, but it's driving me crazy. I don't usually wear it curled like this, and I curled it today, and it's just, I'm in this video, it looks all stringy and stuff. I'm like, what the heck? Anyways, so, you can see how that works, how energy is manifested through the air, through an echo, through the soil, through the seed. You can also see it through water. When you throw a stone, one stone in any body of water, lake, a river, an ocean, a creek, or in the South we call it a crick, you get back a ripple effect. It doesn't just make one ripple when you throw a stone in, it makes multiple ripples. And depending on how hard you throw the stone in, is going to determine how many ripples are going to come back to you. The harder you throw the stone in, the more emotion and force you put behind it, because emotions are just force too. A lot of rage is just very forceful anger. Extreme joyfulness or extreme happiness and giddiness is just over exaggerated joy. It's just joy with momentum. Wrath, extreme wrath, is just anger with momentum. You can be a little angry with somebody, and you can be so angry you want to kill them. You can be slightly happy and pleased, or you can be so ecstatically happy and pleased that you feel like you're on cloud nine and you're floating. So it's just about momentum. It's just about the pressure or the force that you put behind that emotion that feeds that what you're getting back. So even in water, like I said, throw a stone in the water. You just drop a stone, it makes 3 or 4 ripples that go outward. And then what happens when those ripples go outward? It hits the bank and it comes back, just like the echo. And the same thing happens when you do it with the stone and you throw it in heavy. When you throw or drop a stone in really, with, heavy or fast with a lot of force, it does the same thing. It brings back multiple ripples, that to the point where it can even create waves in an ocean, right? Something hitting the ocean, like a storm or something, it creates a hurricane, right? So you can see this all throughout nature. I can even bring it up with fire. You take one thing to burn in a fire, and when you burn it, what does it create? Multiple ashes. It doesn't create one ash. It takes that one thing that you burned and makes multiple of it. Multiple ashes to spread around in your garden. Multiple ashes to fly out in the air. Multiple. Everything comes back multiplied. This is what the scriptures mean when it says, give and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is what he's talking about. Everything that I talk about is not going to always have a scripture attached to it. But if I can come up with a scripture that works with it, I will bring it up. So I just want everybody to know that. So if you're not religious and you're an atheist or whatever, this video can still be for you. Just because I'm bringing up something out of the Bible or out of scripture, it doesn't mean I'm trying to be a holy roller and that this is only based for Christians. I just want to put that out there. This is based for anybody because this is just basic knowledge. This is fundamental knowledge that everybody should know, that you're living in this world and you don't even know how energy works. That's kind of scary. Like, we all need to understand the power of our words, the power of our thoughts. They're a ripple effect out there producing things. And so just knowing this, be careful what you say about others. Be careful what you say about yourself. Be careful what you think about others, and be careful what you think about yourself, because you are manifesting all the time whether you realize it or not. You are making things happen whether you realize it or not. But just by simply thinking, just by simply talking, you're attracting those things into your environment. Energy really does work like that. I know for a fact, because I have studied it so deeply and so thoroughly over the years. I have put the law of attraction, or what people like to call the law of attraction, or name it and claim it, or whatever, into effect. And I have manifested exactly to the T the things I've spoke. And I did it with intention, purposefully, to see if it worked. And it does work. And I've been doing it for a long time. I'm 46 and I've been doing it for many years. So it is real. It is legit. That's why it works. That's how it works. Once you understand that fundamental, then everything else around manifesting will begin to make sense to you. So I hope this helps. Sorry for such a long video over here, but these are deep, deep topics that most people don't know where to look. They don't know where to research. There's so much information and books and stuff out there. And I just want to spare people the time of having to, like, figure this out on their own. I had to figure it out on my own. I had to learn from life and experience, because I was not given an easy life. I was given a very hard life, and I had to make my life work for me for the better. And this is what taught me this, was having to go through such hard extremes in my life, taught me these truths, taught me these laws, these basic laws of nature, laws of God, laws of the Creator. He created these laws to work for you or for against you. And if you know how to use them, they can work for you. If you don't know what you're doing and you don't understand this, it's working against you all the time by what you think and what you say. So anyways, I hope this video helps and sheds light on how energy works, why it works. And so every video after this that I do will start to make more sense on law of attraction and how to get your words and your thoughts to manifest your reality. So next time we can break it down a little bit more. Have a great day.